up, Summoners? This week, the champion trends feature Nidalee, Wukong, Vel'Koz, Rengar, Heimerdinger, and Elise. I'm Lindsay with Zam, and this is LolKing's League Trends. Let's dive into Summoner's Rift. I guess everyone wants to play dodgeball this week, as Nidalee is heading up the largest increase in pick rates. Zed, Lucian, Twitch, and Morgana round out the list. With the nerfs to the most recent mid-champion, Lulu, other champions like Zed and Nidalee have a chance to claw their way to the top. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a spear. Nidalee has been picked and banned a lot this season in leagues all over the world due to the emphasis on poke and siege compositions. Nidalee struggles in lane because of her weak early game, especially if she takes a defensive summoner spell over an offensive one, like Ignite. In lane, she looks to survive and farm, and once she hits level 6, her options open up. After Nidalee gets her Cougar form, she gains mobility and burst damage, which allows her to roam effectively. If a Nidalee can get out of the laning phase without too many issues, her spears will start to hurt, like bad. Playing against a good Nidalee is probably one of the most annoying things in League. I mean, it really sucks trying to dodge every spear that comes at you because you know if you get hit by one, you're most likely chunked to at least half your health, and then you have to give up an objective. Remember kids, the 5 rules of dodgeball. Dodge, dip, dive, duck, and dodge. Good luck, everyone! Champions on the decrease in pick rates have Sivir in the lead, while Gragas, Wukong, Varus, and Heimerdinger finish off the list. So the Monkey King got a small nerf to his early game damage in the most recent patch. The armor shred from his Q, Crushing Blow, is scaled back to 10% at rank 1 instead of being 30% at all ranks. Wukong is considered a weak early jungle because he has almost no gank pressure before he hits level 6. Sure, you can be sneaky and use your decoy to attempt a gank, but girl, you ain't no Evelyn. Before level 6, Wukong has no hard CC, so it makes it hard for him to gank, which means less pressure in the early game compared to other junglers like Pantheon or Lee Sin. However, once he hits 6, Wukong's ganks can be very deadly, especially if you have a Thresh on the team. Wukong excels at having a wombo combo and is particularly nasty in clustered team fights. The AoE knockup from his Cyclone combos perfectly with Yasuo's ultimate Last Win, which requires knockup or displacement to activate. Set fly, much knockup. Ow. Wukong will most likely not see competitive play anymore, but in solo queue, he should still be able to catch unsuspecting players. Goody. This week, the increases in win rates puts Anivia on the list with over 2%. Swain, Skarner, Cho'Gath, and the new kid Vel'Koz follow up. Vel'Koz is the newest champion on the block, and it took summoners a while to make good use of him. This IF Sauron wannabe has a bit of everything: poke, true damage, wave clear, and even an AoE knockup. In lane, Vel'Koz can be a bully, but his main problem is his immobility. Like the Eye of Sauron, he doesn't have a reliable escape and can be camped easily by a jungler, or some sad hobbit looking to destroy a ring or something. Mobility is one of the major differences between him and the meta mid laners. Compared to Nidalee, Zed, or LeBlanc, Vel'Koz seems like a rock, especially since he has to be stationary in order to be able to use his ultimate. However, he does a surprisingly high amount of damage from his Lightform Disintegration Ray. I mean, it's a giant purple laser. It looks pretty, but it sure don't taste pretty. At max rank, it does 900 damage plus a 60% AP ratio. We have seen him played in a support role in both EU LCS and OGN, however, he gave an underwhelming performance. It might be a while before we see him in competitive, but nonetheless, he's still definitely a fun champion to play. For now, he'll just stay in the Rift, with other nasty hobbitses. Decreases in win rates this week see Gragas up first. Corki, Xerath, Rengar, and Cassiopeia complete the list. So this kitty cat has either been completely useless or absolutely broken. Every time Riot nerfs Rengar, players seem to find another way to build him and make him OP. From damage to tank builds, Rengar has seen them all in competitive play. Now patch 4.5 completely reworked this guy, and it's still a mystery how good he'll be. Full tank Rengar with Sunfire and Spirit Visage doesn't appear to be as good as it once was due to how much the items and Rengar's kit has been changed. However, Rengar's Roar can still make him tankier than ever. With every champion or large monster he hits, he gains 15 armor and magic resist. So 5 champions equals 75 armor and MR on top of the 30 base you receive from the ability. Yeah, still beefy. It may take a while for players to figure out what exactly will make Rengar OP again, unless maybe Riot has correctly balanced him this time. Gasp. Champs on the increase in ban rates this week see Heimerdinger in the lead with nearly 11.5%, while Evelyn, LeBlanc, Nidalee, and Kha'Zix trail behind. It might seem a little silly or trollish, but the terror of the Donger started after he received a buff to his giant turret in patch 4.4. And no, that's not a euphemism. Players in solo queue and competitive have been able to take advantage and dominate the top lane. In the EU LCS, the Copenhagen Wolves were able to use top lane Heimer to take 2 wins. Let's be honest here, Heimerdinger has a bit of a global taunt, kinda like Teemo does. You just want to straight up murder the guy on sight. However, trying to kill him might be your biggest mistake. Even though he doesn't have a reliable escape, he's actually extremely hard to gank. Once the Donger has his turret set up, it's nearly impossible to kill him, and he can even win in 1v2 situations. Turrets for days. Playing against Heimer is almost as annoying as playing against Nidalee. I mean, if you try to get near him, just be ready to take absurd amounts of ouch. In patch 4.5, Heimer did get a few nerfs to his overall damage, so the Donger train might be coming to an end in the near future. Finally, the decreases in ban rates has Elise leading the charge. Kassadin, Vi, Lulu, and Yasuo finish off our last top 5 for this week. The Spider Queen keeps falling as another 10% gets chunked from her ban rate. Patch 4.4 came down like a rolled up newspaper on Elise, and she's been staying down ever since. Realistically, she's currently at a pretty balanced state, as she's not as prioritized as before, but she's still getting played often in competitive. Elise is still a very strong early game jungler with a cocoon and percentage health damage, and most Elise players are also now rushing Magic Pen boots to try and compensate for her damage nerfs in the early game. So while completely viable, players seem to prefer other champions for the job. Elise does not particularly scale well, so she has to make early and mid game plays to make the pick worth it. If Elise does not make an impact in the game during the early stages, she'll just end up getting stomped on until she's just a really sad smear on the Rift. We'll continue to see Elise played, just not as banned out nearly as much. And that's it for this week's show. Please be sure to subscribe to LolKing and Cloth5 on YouTube for other great League content. I'm Lindsay, and I'll see you guys next week.